Man, that's
Good evening and welcome to the New Bern Redevelopment Commission monthly meeting. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your interest in redevelopment, and thank all of our commission members for their sacrifice and all the others that love this great community and have sacrificed their time. At this time, we will have our roll call by Vice Chair Kip Perigoy.
Commissioner Walker,
Here.
Commissioner Morgan,
Here.
Commissioner Strickland,
Here.
Commissioner Pyram,
Here.
Commissioner Wallace,
Here.
Chair Lee,
Here.
Vice Chair Perigoy is here. Our ex officio members, Alderman Prill,
Here.
Alderman Best, Alderman Royal.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you so much. If you would, if you're looking at your agenda, you will see two persons that are not here. They're no longer members of the Redevelopment Commission, and so we thank them for their service. Ms. Stephanie Lovick and Mr. Julian Tripp. Thank you so much. Commissioners, have you had an opportunity to look at the agenda tonight? And could we get an approval for the agenda? Any changes? Number 3. Yes. Yes. Do we have any additions or anything else to add onto the agenda? Staff, attorney? Could we get an approval for the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Commissioners, at your place, you will have our guiding principles. If you are really good, there they are on the board. Right there, but otherwise they're at your place. If we could start with Commissioner Walker tonight.
The first principle is past, present, and future equal time.
The second guiding principle, respect others' opinions.
Number 3, listen to build consensus.
Number 4, share accurate information, public perception.
Number 5, stay focused, be action-oriented.
Number 6 is believe.
Believe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At this time, we will have our public comment. It is limited to 4 minutes. Do we have any comments from the public tonight? Okay, Mr. Pete Fry.
Just a reminder that the bid that I put in a couple months ago is still here in this building. The money's still here. The bid that was accepted, I was wondering about that still. I was here at the meeting last night, and I read the minutes for December 4th and November 9th, and I was curious how those got recorded because they don't seem to be very accurate. And also, at the December meeting, you guys mentioned a partnership for the parcel that I was interested in that I put a bid on, and the partnership was still not talked about last night either. I was wondering, those are my 3 questions, and also as the night goes on here, will there be any other opportunity to make a comment? Or is this it?
I see, Madam Chair, you're looking to me.
Yes,
This
I'm
is-
looking for the process as to where it is now because of what we did at our last meeting. If you were here last night, the partnership was with Alderman Bobby Asker. That's what he was talking about, so that's it. The minutes we're going to take care of in a few minutes. And the other question was if you would be allowed to speak at any other time or on any of the other agenda items.
Yeah, like when you go over the approval of the minutes, will there be any other opportunity to make comments?
Madam Chair, This is the designated time in the agenda where members of the public are given an opportunity to speak. If a majority of the board members would like to reopen an opportunity for public discussion later for any particular agenda item, it would take a vote and affirmation by a majority of the members.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Thank
All right. Okay, moving on to, no other public comment. Moving on to agenda item 6, the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to table the approval of the minutes until our next regularly scheduled meeting in February. There are discrepancies in the minutes that we would like to get corrected before adoption.
Yes, and several board members have brought those to our attention, and so we would like a motion to do that, well, a second. We've had the motion by Commissioner Perigold.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion? Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Morgan,
No.
Mr. Wallace, Mr. Strickland, Mr. Parham? Okay. All
Madam
in-
Chair, just so the motion is clear, is that a motion to table approval of the minutes for both the December 14th meeting and the November 9th meeting?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Item 7 is consider approving the amended 2023 Redevelopment Commission meeting schedule, and you have that in your packets.
Madam Chair, I noticed that the strategic planning session is scheduled for February 4th, but it does not have a time. I know we had discussed in the morning. Is that a time been established for the strategic planning session?
Staff?
So I spoke with the facilitator. She said that 9 o'clock would work best for her. And I know we were talking about getting out a little bit early and doing a 4-hour session versus a 3-hour. She said 8 o'clock was a bit too early from the distance that she has to drive.
So that would be scheduled for 9 to 1 on Saturday, the February 4th?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what
Okay.
we decided.
Okay, any other questions?
The only question I had is, I think there's been some discussions on possibly revisiting, opening up the 4th month again, the 4th Wednesday to facilitate more communication and more prompt action. And I'd also heard some conversation on that possibly being used as a working group meeting session. So just kind of wanted to clarify expectations one way or the other, or give an opportunity to get that on the record, that the working groups need to plan on getting together on that 4th Wednesday if we're not going to have an official board meeting,
Yes.
or at some point in that week anyways.
We had talked about that, the housing working group talked about it as well, and one of the things we said, we wanted to make sure that the working groups are meeting, and so we were going to leave that open for them, and also leave it open if we need to do a work session, because one of the other things that we're going to do is be asking for a written report, so we really need to have, make sure that we have meetings and things like that. So that's where it is at this point.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? We needed an approval for the calendar of meeting schedules.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Item 8, agenda item 8, presentation by Mark Roberts regarding his interest in purchasing 837 Pavie Street, a city and county-owned property, and that map is at your place as well. Mr. Roberts?
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be back in front of the commission again. Again, I'm Mark Roberts, here to talk about 837 Pavie. I just want to also note I have my partner, Sean Milburn, is here also. I leave him in the crowd because he's too tall, makes me look too short. what we here proposing is we're looking to purchase the property, and we're looking to do basically as the commission intends. We're looking to go in and rehab the building and maintain it as a rental and rent it out. The way that we do this, and we've done it before on other properties, is, rehab them. Sean and I actually are on site, doing much of the work, although they don't let me do the power tools for good reason. And then we work with Twin Rivers to bring in a family that needs a home. As a little bit of a background, when we were here before, it was when we were purchasing a lot, same ownership, on Second Ave,
Yes.
which was next to a property we owned. Since we've owned just that lot itself, we've worked with the city to clean it up. We've worked with the police department to kind of remove the cars and the people that were hanging out there. And then we've gone a step further, and we're purchasing our own light pole that's going to be put in by the city, hopefully this or next week. So we're really looking to enhance the neighborhoods that we go in and we work with. When we were here talking about that, we had mentioned the property that we have over on Green Street. And it was mentioned that Sean and I were seeing, along with some of our workers, we were there, we fixed up the property. I'm very pleased to say that property is now completed. And again, working with Twin Rivers, we have a very great family that's going to be moving in sometime this month. And we'll be living there. That's our modus operandi. Go in and fix these houses that need the love, keep the character and the look of the houses in the neighborhood, and then rent them out so that we have somebody living there in the property. We're not looking to flip these properties. We're looking for long-term possession and rental. I believe, yes, we'd opened it up when we were talking about the property on Green Street, if anyone from the Development Commission wanted to come in and see it, and we were taken up on that and did see the property.
Okay, Commissioner Morgan.
Yes, I did have an opportunity to go in and tour the property, and I do remember that dwelling when it was back in its heyday, but I was also able to go through it when it was a dilapidated and a danger and an eyesore to the community. And I just wanted to go on record as saying that you all have done a tremendous job in a short period of time, and it makes a big difference to that whole block. And I just want to tell you thank you.
Oh, thank you. And we can leave that invite open if anyone else wants to see the property, although I'm going to give you a small window because, again, somebody should be moving in this month. But if you want to see, especially if you know the property, what it looks like now after we've done that, you're welcome to that.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much
Roll
unless-
through, but I didn't stop to go in, but thank you.
sorry.
Let me ask the commissioner if they have any further questions for you. And so your relationship with Twin Rivers seems to be going well. This is your second or third property with them?
We have two on Green, one on Second, that is going through Twin Rivers.
Okay,
Yeah, they've been a pleasure to deal with.
okay, all right, hold on just a minute. Yes, Commissioner Walker,
No questions.
all right. Anything further?
What would your estimated time of completion be for the Pavie Avenue site?
How long will it take us to do that?
Yes.
From when we get in there, good, we were in sync, 6 months.
6 months.
All right, thank you.
All right. Vice Chair?
Just that, hopefully you remember the process that we would go through.
Yes.
Your request, it goes to the housing work group, who will come back at the next meeting with the recommendation for the whole commission to act upon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And it's a city and county property. Okay. Commissioner Parno? Commissioner Strickland?
Do you intend any structural modifications or new buildings or anything, or are you pretty much just gonna redo what's there? Is that what you're
Probably
planning?
redo exactly what's there. We haven't been in there to really assess it, but we expect just to go in and fix what we can and rent it out. It's a small property, so we're not adding any buildings or anything to that.
Okay. Commissioner Wallace?
Question?
Okay. All right.
Question,
Yes, sir.
how do we contact you for a tour of the property?
Easiest is to give me a call. I can give you that number now
Do
if
you
you
have
like.
a card with you or?
I don't know if I do. I can, you have that? We'll share your insurance card.
Thank you.
Alderman Pruitt,
And
do
we're
you
all
have
local, so
anything?
whatever that, we can make that happen.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Alderman Creel, do you have anything?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. In a new position, so I, thank y'all, thank you so much. Okay, if there's nothing else further, then we will move to agenda item 9, I believe. Consider adopting a resolution approving the sale of property located at 827 Cedar Street to Mr. William Richardson for the bid amount of $1,140. I'm sure that has gone through the Housing Working Group.
Madam Chair, just as a point of clarity, previously, when we were developing, or when you all were developing and adopting your purchasing protocols, there is a special procedure when the Redevelopment Commission wants to sell its property. As you may recall, this requires the approval of the Board of Aldermen. So the resolution that's in your packet tonight, if my memory serves me correctly,
Yes.
is to approve the sale to the final highest bidder, who in this case is Mr. Richardson, subject to approval by the Board of Aldermen.
Yes. I see that. All right, any questions regarding what we have to do is approve the resolution? Any further questions from the commission?
The Exhibit A that's in the resolution will be attached with the deed restrictions.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay,
827 is just a lot, correct? It's just a lot, vacant
Yes.
lot.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
sir. Hearing no further questions, I'd make a motion that we adopt a resolution approving the sale of the property located at 827 Cedar Street to Mr. William Richardson for the bid amount of $1,140.
got a second?
Second.
Second. Questions, further discussion? All in favor of approving the resolution for the bid?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. Agenda item 10. Consider adopting a resolution to approve the execution of a contract with Ed Munford, owner of the Third Property and Estate Investment Group, to remodel the home located at 911 Eubanks Street. Vice Chair.
Well, Madam Chair, if I may, just in light of some questions and opportunities that presented themselves in the recent days, I would make a motion that we table this to our next meeting to give us a little bit more opportunity to kind of flush through things before we execute anything and kind of start forward down the path that we can't walk back from.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So a motion to table. in short.
Motion on the table?
Second.
Okay. Okay. All right. Questions? Questions? Alderman Royer, Alderman Creel? Okay. All right. Hearing no discussion, get an approval to table the item until our February meeting? Okay.
Was there a vote on the motion, Madam Chair?
Yes, I did not see, I'm sorry. Could we get a motion to table?
It's been made and seconded, wait on the vote.
We just haven't
Yes.
voted. No, we haven't.
Okay, all right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item number 11. Consider adopting a resolution for the demolition of the structures located at 910 and 914 Bloomfield Street. Vice Chair and Commissioner Walker.
Now, this is something that's been discussed at last meetings. This is the two properties we acquired from Mr. Carter. We have prices from Public Works that we have accepted, and so this is the paperwork involved with this. And so I would make the motion to adopt a resolution for the demolition of the structures located at 910 and 914 Bloomfield Street.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Right, discussion? Questions? Alderman Roll, Alderman Creel? Okay, all in favor? Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. We'll have our finance report by the Executive Director, Ms. Coleman.
So, we have 3 pots of money. The first part is the Community Development Block Grant Funds. We were allocated funds in 2020 as well as 2021. For the 2020 account is $52,721.50. For the 2021 is $125,000 in that account for CDBG dollars. We also have another account, this redevelopment commission is the redevelopment commission's account. And it was approved last night, with the Board of Aldermen to transfer those funds that we needed to pay those invoices. In your package is a breakdown of those funds, so you can see exactly, where the money is going. So we did receive an approval for that $55,000 to be transferred from our fund balance to our redevelopment account. The fund balance is kind of like a savings account for us. And as a couple months, we have never really sat down and did a budget projection of where we need certain allocations. And as time goes on, I will have more information on that as well.
Okay.
Is there, they commented last night, our fund balance, which is not shown here, so this can be misleading, this financial report. We'd be broke if we looked at this as our financial report. What is our current fund balance before or after the transfer that was done last night?
Okay. The fund balance has over $350,000.
Okay.
It's broken up, actually Alderman Prill, Alderman Royal, and Alderman Best contribute $167,000 to that fund. It will come up on the February agenda item regarding, it was for the McCarter House, and so we need to revisit that for resolution for 908 Bloomfield.
That's the $350,000 that's been allocated for the wellness center. Our general fund balance is a different number that I think was stated last night, about $353,000.
I'm not sure.
They talked about it last
So the
night
total that
being
you have in your
different.
package came from finance. So that was the dollar amount that they gave. I will go back and find out and give you a correct answer at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, further questions? Okay, all right, thank you so much. Agenda item 13, consider adopting a resolution authorizing the executive director to approve expenditures up to $1,000. I had talked about that with several persons and wanting to make sure that she's able to do the things that she needs to do without coming to us or having to call a meeting for the small things. But I think what we are going to do is look at the overall budget and look at it from that standpoint. But my understanding, after talking to several other persons, city finances, we still need to approve to do that for redevelopment funds. So that is what the resolution is for.
Just as a matter of clarity, Madam Chair, I don't think there was a resolution for
We
this
didn't
item
have one?
included in the
Oh.
package. So the appropriate action, if you're inclined, would be a motion to take a particular action.
Just a motion, okay, all right. Okay. Any questions?
So we need to make a motion to authorize the availability of the executive director to spend up to $1,000?
Yes,
Yes, sir, that would be the motion.
So moved.
all right. We have a second? Second. All right, any other questions, discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Executive Director's report.
So, chairperson spoke about the 2 resignations that we had. So last night at the Alderman meeting, the mayor made a recommendation to the Board of Aldermen to each one to provide a name or for the Redevelopment Commission appointment. Once the names are provided, they will review and appoint accordingly to whatever application. So he's actually changing that process and having the Alderman make a recommendation for the board.
Does it say, excuse me, does it say how soon that appointment will be made?
They're gonna be at the next meeting, I'm not sure, did he say?
Did
We
it say?
submit the
All right.
names at the next meeting at the February Board of Aldermen, the next meeting for the Board of Aldermen.
You'll make that appointment then?
No, sir.
Oh, just receive the
We
names?
submit
Okay,
the names.
okay, thank you, okay,
So we're 2 months out before this season.
probably,
We'll meet every 2 weeks.
okay. Thank you.
So another thing, if you look back at your calendar, you'll see that the annual meeting is also in February.
Yes.
At that time, you guys will have to come up with when you're gonna make nominations for the chair and the vice chair seats. We have 2 people that are coming off the board. Everybody was appointed in August, but it was a staggered appointment. So, we have 2 people that are coming due to, board term to expire, this year. And that's, Madam Chair Lee and, Commissioner Wallace.
And those terms expire in June or July?
August.
August, okay.
Another thing we, have been working on, there have been several requests, from Madam Chair and others regarding what does our marketing look like. Commissioner Strickland said, hey, we need to get some signs out there. I have been meeting with Colleen to draw up some branding ideas. And in the midst of that, we are going to look at our parcels that we have, what parcels are for sale, and our GIS director has done a really good job putting this together.
Yep, she
I
has.
will get it to you via email, but it's color-coded and it defines our property, what's available for sale, what's hazard and mitigation, but it breaks down everything. So as a board, we need to decide which properties are gonna go on the surplus list, similar to what the city has. Any questions? That's all I have.
All right.
Madam Chair, if I could add just one clarifying point. I've gone back through my notes from last night's Board of Aldermen meeting, and I believe, based on my notes, that the board will be accepting and making nominations at the January 24th Board of Aldermen meeting, which is their next regularly scheduled meeting. So any individuals who might be present or watching or streaming on our new Roku channel, who might be interested in serving on the Redevelopment Commission should contact the city clerk on or before that January 24th meeting, or reach out to any of our elected officials.
Okay. All right. Great. Great process. Thank you so much, Ms. Wilman, for a great job that you continue to do. We are appreciative. If you have any questions or need anything, please make sure that you reach out to her. She's the point of contact for the Redevelopment Commission. All right. Thank you. Agenda item 15, our working group reports. And so before we get to those, again, I would like to have our reports written from now on. I'm not asking you to write a legal brief, just a paragraph or two, and get it to Ms. Patricia so she can put it in the packet, and then that way we will have some idea of what the working groups talk about before we get to the meeting. Like I say, it doesn't have to be detailed, but it does need to have, some different components in there. So if you can do that, and I think if you look at the meetings schedule down to the bottom, she sort of has kind of when she needs that information. Usually it's a week before because she needs to get everything out to us. It has to be posted on online. It has to be posted on the door. So we want to make sure, you know, to do that in a timely manner. Like I said, you know, not asking for a legal brief, but is asking for something in writing. So also that, you know, necessitates us meeting. So every group, you know, you need to meet with your group, whether you're meeting with, you know, your group that's inside the commission or outside, because some of us have members from outside of the commission. And so we just need to get that done going forward. So she can expect a written report in, for the February meeting.
February meeting?
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround.
You're in the school system, you can handle it. Okay, all right. Do we have a report from the housing group tonight?
Yes, we do. Just to let everybody know that the housing work group met on December 30th in that week between Christmas and New Year's. And the agenda for that meeting was that we reviewed that meeting we had with the mayor the following, or a couple days prior to our December 30th meeting. We also discussed, again, the offer from Mr. Fry on the Jones Street property. We had discussion about the Eubanks house and the rehabbing of that property. We discussed the demolition issues associated with 908 Bloomfield. We looked at the suggested changes to the meeting schedule and the meeting location that have been presented to us that you see in place right now. And we also began developing a list of redevelopment community properties that will be for sale and those that will not be for sale. We also will be developing a minimum sales price on redevelopment community properties that we do deem surplus and available for sale to the public. Then the bulk of the discussion was concerning our utilization of Mr. Astor's funds to develop the Jones Street property that was presented to the Board of Aldermen last night. And Beth, I'll turn it over to you at that point.
I don't know how many of you tuned in to watch that Board of Aldermen televised, but I'll have packets of the plans that we presented to the aldermen. That should be enough for everybody. Maybe not. And as we were discussing, that was the partnership that had come to us in October was Bobby Astor wanting to spend his allocated funds for development of quality rental housing in the redevelopment area. So these two lots, we had already planned, we had a concept plan to subdivide these lots, put them together and subdivide them to provide the most housing. We had already been working on that plan. So when Alderman Astor came with a funding solution for a plan that we had started and a while back, we got on a feasibility study. So we looked at what would that really look like with, and how many units could we put on there. We came up with 2 one-bedroom units and 2 two-bedroom units. The 2-bedroom units are arranged as a duplex to fit on the site, but that would allow for 4 rental unit properties total. And Kip put together a cost estimate, pretty detailed cost estimate of what that would cost, and it came in under the budget of the money Mr. Astor had, so that is what we presented to the Board of Aldermen last night.
Just to further this discussion, these are concept plans. These are not hard,
Oh, thank
fast.
you.
These were plans that were developed as concepts so that we could test them against city ordinances and things of that nature to make sure that we did not have any impossible dreams to fulfill, let's put it that way. So these are concept plans of how to utilize the site, and these are concept plans of the housing that could be utilized on the site to provide the rental properties that are so badly needed in the redevelopment area. So,
Thank you for adding that, because that was key to the presentation, that this is not a finished work, but it is a concept of what would be feasible.
Okay.
and as Beth mentioned, there was a detailed budget created for this concept plan. And we have had, as we saw last night, we had checked it out with Development Services, Planning and Zoning Administrator, and everything was done properly and has no questions or issues with the city ordinances. So again, that's why you do concept plans, is to check it out and make sure before you get too far down the road that things can be done as envisioned. So this is, again, some of the work that came out of our housing work group at our last meeting and presented to the Board of Aldermen last night, and kind of where we're heading with the utilization of the Jones Street property. And I guess I would ask the city attorney if there's, we've never had this conversation from a legal perspective, but is there any, are we heading down an unknown path that we haven't checked on yet?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So I did have the privilege of seeing the presentation last night and hearing some of the comments by our elected officials, and had an opportunity to reflect on some of those comments with Mr. Davis, who is our city attorney. And one of the components of this concept that we are continuing to explore is the concept of rental housing. So redevelopment commissions are entities defined by statute, and their powers are limited to those that are set forth in the general statutes, specifically in Chapter 160A. So there are a couple of different types of redevelopment commissions that we've seen across the state. For example, there's some communities whose redevelopment commissions often work as housing authorities. So the tools in their toolboxes are different than just a redevelopment commission standalone. So we are looking at sister communities across the state to see, from a legal standpoint, how they structure the ownership package and the feasibility to make sure that we, one, aren't reinventing the wheel, and two, that we are making sure that this commission is squarely within its statutory authority. And that's an ongoing discussion that our office will continue to have, and we will report our opinions back to this commission.
Okay. And that's a very important for general discussion. When the Redevelopment Commission was created, the financial analysis of self-funding for the Redevelopment Commission was done on a 20-year pro forma, and it was all based on rental property that the commission owned, utilizing Section 8 housing as the income level that we would bring in. Steve, you want to talk about that? You did all that work.
Well, it was just simply built on a standard rental model based on what we could plan to receive from Twin Rivers via the Section 8 program, and built in all of the expected expenses and revenue items associated with rental property. And that was essentially put together as our funding stream in perpetuity to further fund the Redevelopment Commission mission and goal of carrying out the plan that has been adopted all the way up through the Board of Aldermen.
Was that plan taking consideration funding for staffing?
At that point, we did not have funding for staffing. That has since come along with Ms. Catricia. But the model was built, we actually priced into that modeling, paying for a management company or a portion of that to cover management fees. So outsourcing that if need be, doing it internally if possible was factored into those calculations.
And in that pro forma that you created, there, you had fee for management services.
Yeah, there was a contingency that was thrown in, and that was the lion's share of that contingency.
Okay. And I also look back in the plan itself, and it states in the plan that the Redevelopment Commission would partner with Twin Rivers Opportunities to create rental program for residential structures owned by the Redevelopment Commission utilizing Section 8 vouchers in development areas. So it's always been part of our vision for how the Redevelopment Commission would work and how it would function, and what the concept plans that were presented last night is the first step in the implementation of a plan that has been around for a couple of years now. So that's kind of the report of the Redevelopment Commission activities for the month.
All right, thank you so much, and remember that homeownership is also part of our plan as well, because you need it all for a stable neighborhood, so let's remind us of that. Okay, thank you so much. Any questions of the housing working group?
Yeah, one question. The idea, my question now is, how soon do you think something will happen?
Well,
And when I say happen, the things that the attorney has to do.
Yes, I was gonna say.
The pieces of finding a management group, who's gonna build it, just an idea. What do you think? Another year, 2 years?
no. We're talking in time period of months.
Months, we should see something started.
And this
Okay.
does, I feel like everybody needs to understand, we presented this to the Board of Aldermen because we were presented with the idea of having money, so it has to go back to the Board of Aldermen, and they have to approve it.
Right.
That's key to
Yeah.
when did it start.
Okay.
Alderman Astor last night proposed to transfer $75,000 to our account as seed money to begin the preliminary activities, such as surveying work,
Yeah.
recombination of lots, and all those things that are preliminary to getting a shovel in the ground.
The small
But-
infrastructure stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Any others? Okay, thank you. Neighborhood?
Yes. What I'll be reporting on today is the analysis from the Duffield cleanup, which took place on December 2nd and 3rd. And what we did was some bullet points on what we did well, what we can do better, and what we need to do for the next cleanup to make it a success. And of course, anything done over in the area, we're going to consider a success just because it was needed. The things that we did well, the pavilion for the distribution of the people and supplies worked very well, and what we did was utilize Henderson Park.
Okay.
The general organization of the cleanup was awesome. Ms. Ann Shout did a great job. The clipboards and maps were very helpful. We did get some help enlisting the county inmates for cleanup, and that came through Major McFadden from out at the Clark's site. And of course, we did give some thank you notes for all of those who assisted. What we can do better, we need to get the word out a little earlier, and we need to use 3 different methods that we really did not take advantage of: flyers, meetings, and door-to-door. We may have had a little bit of that, but we really need to get the word out using those 3 methods.
Okay.
We also need to get firm commitments from the city to establish a better relationship early. We need to pinpoint areas that need to be cleaned up by the city, which are city-owned lots. Get the city lots cleaned up ahead of time and ask for a schedule of just what we can expect, so we can start maybe 6 to 9 months out.
Okay.
Advertise in the neighborhood churches. We need to advertise in the neighboring newsletters for helping, such as Riverside, Ghent, and some of the other different neighborhoods. We need to get more volunteer help from all over the city and not just from the redevelopment areas. and we need to get more of the redevelopment area more involved. Now, what we need to do for the next cleanup is not to increase the area of the cleanup, but concentrate on those areas even more so. We need to take pictures of the before and the after, get more of our block captains more operational, start talking to residents early, have community meetings, such as cookouts, meet with all 47 churches in the redevelopment area, and even contact some of the high school sports teams, some of the sororities and the fraternities. Now, we would also like to help in partnership with the housing work group when you do get your plans in concrete. And when you do have a set of what your model is gonna look like, the neighborhood group would like to help with getting signs, a signage of what your finished product is gonna look like, and putting it on site and letting them know that this is going to be by the Redevelopment Commission. And so that they'll have something to look forward to, even if you don't put a proposed date, at least it'll have a plan, it'll create some optics, create some conversation, and maybe we'll even get some of the neighborhood involved in saying, hey, this is what they're gonna do here, let's concentrate on this area because this is what we have coming. And they can ride by, they can see it, see the model once it's in concrete. And of course, we'll be very, very careful as to what to put on the signage, but definitely to let them know that this is a project by the Redevelopment Commission, okay? And lastly, it would be beneficial for the city, for the Redevelopment Commission, and for the community when we have major projects such as the one that's going on right now over on the corner of Raleigh and East Rose Street. Not the stormwater project, it's a resurfacing project. There are about 4 blocks that are not surfaced right now, and they're dirt roads. But to make sure that when the community does come, we'll have some answers and that we'll be able to let them know, hey, this is only gonna be for a couple of weeks. This is what they're doing. Either we had some restructuring, some infrastructure problems, whether it be with pipes, leaks, or whatever, but the city is over here and they're working, and we just need some patience and some cooperation, because this is some of the things that we're dealing with. And of course, down on the corner of East Rose and Raleigh, and if you don't go back there, you won't know it, there are, and this is in the middle of the, not in the middle of the street, but it's on the side of the street. And this is going down one of the streets. It's just a couple of cones out, but there are about 6 different loads of rocks. I know that they have to be there. I know that they have, but I don't know that they have to be on this particular site. But I think they need to be a little bit more dressed and a little bit more safe for them to be housed there. And I think it would really, really help us out if we were made privy to some of those infrastructural things that are going on. That is definitely progress, and it's showing progress. We just need to know what's going on in our neighborhoods.
Okay.
And we need to know as a commission what's going on in the redevelopment area.
Yes, yes. I've talked to staff about that, but Assistant Manager, Mr. Williams, that is Public Works with the resurfacing and the other part there, is it not?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So maybe we need to have that conversation with them. We do need, because we talked about that in the housing group too, about knowing what's going on in the redevelopment area out there. Okay, thank you. A very good report. Very good report. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Chairperson.
And I'd like, Robbie, to let you know that in the budget that we prepared for this project, that preliminaries we talked about,
Yes.
funding, signage is right there.
Yeah.
Great.
For creating a big sign, just as you're envisioning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ms. Bowman is working on signage as well. So, okay. Any questions for?
Yeah, Commissioner Morgan, I hadn't got over to see it, but they had sent me the pictures of that construction going on over there. Is the sign up that blinks that says road will be closed for this duration like it is usually in the rest of the city?
No, but there are some hard copy signs along with barriers letting you know when you cross over from Washington over onto Raleigh Street, that there is some construction, and of course, that's where it begins and goes 4 blocks all the way to East Rose, which is the railroad tracks, and there's a right-hand turn right before you get to East Rose. That's another block that is unpaved, and it's going to look good. I know it's going to be
Oh, for sure. I mean,
more. I know it's going to. I know that it's needed.
Right.
Yeah.
But we just needed a little bit more information rather than it just being brought up on us. And of course, with the supplies in the trucks that are being housed on the side of the roads, I think need to be secured a little better than what they are.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Commissioner Wood? Okay. All right. Again, thank you so much. Commissioner Wallace, Health and Wellness.
Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is my official report. A little worried about the written part because that came down right after our big meeting we're going to have on Friday. So I'm going to have a whole lot to type. The timing of that was impeccable. Okay, so the health and wellness, what we're doing on Friday the 13th, we're going to have our follow-up meeting. And in that meeting, we're going to discuss the next steps in regards to MOU development and content specifications. We've been in consultation with our attorney and things like we're trying to get the specs right for that, so when we do it, we get them all signed and get that secured. We're also going to discuss the need now to secure grants, external or external support, because we need a site manager for the health and wellness center.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a volunteer doing that. We're stewards of taxpayer dollars. That's taxpayer dollars. That need to be a paid entity that is fully responsible for that center, and they answer to the alderman.
Yeah,
Okay?
true.
So we're gonna discuss that to see what we can do and try to find it. It's just hard funding a personnel position with grants. We all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just tough doing it. Also, we need to set up a meeting with the Boys and Girls Club. I'm gonna do that through the conduit of our executive director. They have verbalized some intentions. They want to be a partner in what we're doing.
Okay, good.
Also, we're in the final stages of securing East Carolina support, and that's going to be the nutritional aspect. They want to really do the community nutrition. So we're finalizing that, so I hope in my next report I can tell you that is confirmed, and that is for our preventive health management approach. Number 6, we need to discuss the feasibility of health department personnel to sponsor or co-sponsor federal, state, and community grants. Sometimes they are prohibited from doing things like that because of their job.
Yes.
So we're going to discuss what they can do and what they can't do. Again, that's getting back to that grant we're going to have to write
Yes.
for the, we've actually found one, I think, that would assist, but that means Dr. Fisher's got to sign it, and we don't know if he can sign it yet. We got to go up to the
That's right.
higher-ups for that. So we all working on it. We all working. We're not we're trying to find a way to make this thing happen. Also, we want to discuss the action steps that were prescribed by the Board of Aldermen to each work group. Make sure that we begin to accomplish and attain those action steps. We're taking a road trip to Durham. We just got to secure a date. Me and the executive director, they have a health and wellness center up in Durham.
They do.
And instead of recreating the wheel, we're going to go see how they do it.
Yes.
And try to fit, you know what they say, adapt, don't adopt. So we're going to see what good things they're doing, and we're going to try to learn from them.
Yes.
The growing pains that they've had. It's just so hard getting our executive director, Patricia, from out that building.
Yeah.
She's just so busy. Every time I throw a date, I can't do it. I can't. I say, all right, bro, we're going to try to throw it out there. So I put it in public. Next time I ask you, I say, yeah.
Okay, we'll talk, Mr. Reed.
Yes, we'll talk. And also, lastly, we're going to continue the discussion in regards to the programming aspects of the Health and Wellness Center to include recommended health services, preventive services, in-kind personnel provided by our partners. Will they need to be housed when they're here? Those type of things from Duke and North Carolina Central, and the duplicative services that may occur in the Circle of Hope. Circle of Hope is Stanley White,
Yes.
Health and Wellness Center, and definitely Pastor Royals
entity over in Duffield. And talking with some stakeholders, they were elated that if they lived over there near J.T. Barber, they wouldn't have to get all the way over to the Health and Wellness Center over on the other side of 5 Points, where they can go and get their blood pressure checked right there at that center within walking distance. So we'll be having a follow-up meeting after that meeting, possibly next week with Pastor Roy or Alderman Roy as well. That concludes me.
All right, thank you, thank you. And a couple other people have contacted me and they want to partner with you, and I'll give you those names afterwards.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, free reports, thank you. So see, you already had them written, thank you.
I have a question, if I
Yes,
may.
sir.
Has there been any discussion on having an on-site portal that would be linked with the health department and with some of the other partners to where you can make an appointment there at the on-site portal without having to go to these places, that they could link you up and you could just go to the wellness center and make an appointment to where you don't have to be on the phone for 30 minutes, or where you don't have to go out in person and have to go through all of the different prompts, because some of the elderly are not that patient or well-versed in going online and making their own appointments. But if they have someone there in front of them that they can agree with and agree on a time and a day, I think that would be beneficial for a lot of what we do need, whether it be mental health, physical health, Craven County Health Department, or any other specialty partners that you have.
Yes, that's actually in the specifications that were sent to KIP. When they asked for specs for the building and some of that thing, we're gonna have everything's digitized now. Remember when we went to the doctor, it was all paper, pencil, and that clipboard. Everything's digitized now. So all they needed was a secure room so that they can put their computers and run the wiring and this and that. We've already discussed that. So it'll be a one-stop shop.
Great.
The nurses that are there from actually the actual nurse, because we have interns there as well, but the certified nurse would take care of that component for us and arrange for when we're in the final stages of securing it. We've got Carolina East with us now. So we're hoping to have a doctor like they do over at Mercy Clinic come over once a day, hopefully on Thursday. And while we're seeing and doing the preventative measures and blood pressure checks and those type of tedious type deals, they can set up, they truly need to see a doctor, they can set that up for Thursday. And they'll be responsible for doing the appointments during that time.
Excellent job, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions for Commissioner Wallace? Alderman Royal, Alderman Creel?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you again so much. Do we have any new business tonight, attorney or staff?
Nothing tonight, Madam Chair.
Okay, all right. Board? Okay. Is there a need for closed session?
Not that I'm aware of, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, any other thoughts, questions, or anything? Okay.
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
All in favor, Chair?
All in favor? Thank y'all so much.